You got to, the thing that a lot of people want to do in deep diving is Titanic. And I know that came up, sort of consequentially because it was on the way to one of your dives. And you decided to do it alone. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, diving the Titanic was humorous because we literally were plotting the map from the Panama Canal to the Malloy Deep, the deepest point in the Arctic Ocean, which had never been dived before. And it was almost humorous how that line was right over the Titanic. And we just looked at each other in the chart room and went, well, we got to dive it now, And, I mean, we have a submersible that can go to any depth and we're going right over it and it's the right time of year. So it's like nature speaking to us.
That's amazing.
No human had been there in 15 years. And so we were going to be able to do the first personal survey of it. And yes, it was probably a bit of ego and curiosity to do a solo dive. But as I've tried to explain people, which sometimes seems difficult for them to get, is that when you dive with someone else, and it is a two-person submersible, it's a very different experience to dive with a passenger. Your risk profile gets lower. You have to be much more conservative on your dives because you're responsible for the crew first and foremost. Just me and the sub, I wondered what the experience would be like. No one had ever dived the Titanic solo. How eerie would it be? But I was a bit naive too. It was the most dangerous dive I ever did. And that's because the currents are quite strong. They can be up to 1.5 knots, which is the maximum speed of the submersible, which means there are points where you barely have control of the sub. And there are cables everywhere. And that's the biggest danger to a submersible is getting entangled because you cannot go outside and untangle yourself. And it was just me and the sub. And I learned really quickly that I had to have my eyes inside the sub to look at the sonar and the instruments, but I also needed to be looking outside for hazards. And you had limited visibility in the submersible. So in that respect, and you're also trying to get as close as possible to get the best video and pictures. So it was a bad combination. But I held it together. I was able to get good footage, do the survey, go to both the front part of the ship and the aft. And after a 4-hour dive, I came up. But I was absolutely exhausted after that 4-hour dive. And I relaxed by watching the movie Titanic at the Titanic, which was kind of fun.
That's